To make change, we always need to subtract. We always subtract the price we paid for something from what we paid for it. So in this example, someone bought something that cost $2.87 and they paid with a $5 bill. Now they paid more than what it's worth, so that means they're going to get change back. To figure out how much change they get back, we always need to subtract. Now when we subtract, the first thing we need to do is we need to take this horizontal problem and we need to put it vertically. That makes it easier to do. Now when I put it vertically, I want to make sure that my place values are lined up. And to make sure that my place values are lined up, all I need to do is make sure my decimal points are lined up. This allows me to have my cents in line and my dollar amounts in line. So if my decimal points are lined up, my place values will be lined up when I'm subtracting money or adding money for that matter. So once again, we always need to subtract to figure out change. Now once I get to this point, pretty much it goes along just like regular subtraction. I follow all the same rules that I followed before. The first thing I need to do is I need to start on the right hand side, and I always ask myself the question, can I do it? 0 minus 7, can I do it? The answer to that is no. Anytime the bottom number is larger than the top, I cannot subtract it. I cannot take 7 away from 0. There's nothing there to take, so I can't take 7 from it. Now, if I can't do it, I need to borrow. So I need to go over to my neighbor. Now, whenever we borrow, we always talk about this person needing cookies to give the cookies away. So this person has no cookies to give away. They need 7 cookies to give away. So when we borrow, we go over to our neighbor, and we always take from our neighbor if they have something to give. This neighbor has nothing to give, so we need to go over to the other neighbor. This neighbor has something to give. So we always take the same amount from our neighbors when they have something to give. We always take one package. So that 5 will become a 4. I always need to make sure that I take that package before I give to anybody else, to any of my other numbers. So always take before you give. So the 5 becomes a 4, and because we took one package, and now this person here was the one that needed the cookies to begin with. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to borrow across that 0. I'm going to borrow across that 0 there. And anytime I borrow across a 0, that 0 is going to become a 9. And then the 0 that needed the 0 or the number that needed the cookies to begin with, they're going to get 10 more cookies. So that 0 will become a 10. Once I get to this point, it's just simple regular subtraction. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 8 is 1. Now I want to bring down my decimal point. That'll be a difference here when we're subtracting money. And then 4 minus 2 is 2, and I bring down my dollar sign. Now my answer to how much change I receive after I bought something for $2.87 with a $5 bill is $2.13. Let's go down to our next example. First thing I want to do is put it vertically up and down. The larger number has to go on top. If I don't put the larger number on top, I can't do the subtraction. So $10 minus $8.43. So once again, I always start out at the right hand side, and I always ask myself the question, can I do it? 0 minus 3 I cannot do because the bottom number is larger. So I need to borrow. I go to my neighbors to borrow. This neighbor doesn't have anything to give, so I go to the next neighbor. This neighbor doesn't have anything to give, so I need to go all the way to the next neighbor. Now whenever we borrow from a neighbor, if they have something to give, we always take one package. So this person only has one package, but we're still going to take it. We take that one package, and they're left with 0. Now this one here, this number here, is the one that needed the cookies. So we're borrowing across all those zeros to the one that needed the cookies. Any 0 that I borrow across becomes a 9. All those zeros that I borrow across become 9s. The 0 that needs the cookies becomes a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. and I just do my subtraction. Always ask myself the question, can I do it? 9 minus 4, I can do that. 9 minus 4 is 5. Bring down my decimal point. 9 minus 8, I can do that. 9 minus 8 is 1. Now this 0 here, I can bring it down if I want to, but I don't have to, because 0 in this case just doesn't change the value of this amount of money. So I can just bring down my dollar sign. So if I bought something for $8.43 and paid with a $10 bill, I get back $1.57 in change. And my last example down here, $20 minus $15.40, that's somebody buying something for $15.40 and paying with a $20 bill. Write it vertically, making sure that our decimal points are lined up. If our decimal points aren't lined up, our place values aren't lined up. And as always, starting in the right-hand column, doing one column at a time. 0 minus 0, I ask myself the question, can I do it? And yes, I can. 0 minus 0 is 0. Because if I have no cookies, I can give someone no cookies. Then I go over to the next column. In this column, I ask myself the same question. Can I do it? 0 minus 4, I can't do it. So now I need to borrow. Go to my neighbor. They don't have anything to give. Go to my other neighbor. Always take one package. This is the person that needed the cookies, so they're going to get 10, and any 0 that I borrowed across will become a 9. Then 10 minus 4 is 6. Bring down my decimal point. 9 minus 5 I can do. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 1 minus 1 is 0. Once again, I don't need to put that 0 there. You can if you want, but that 0 doesn't change the amount of money that I have here. So our answer remains $4.60. So remember, put your numbers vertically with the larger number on top and follow your rules of subtraction. Starting at the right hand with the right hand column, asking yourself, can I do it? If you can do it, do it. If you can't, then you need to borrow. We always take before we give, and we always take one package. Anytime we borrow across zeros, those zeros become 9s.